Isaac's sons, Jacob and Israel. Isaac married Rebekah bint Bethuel, and she gave birth to a set of twins, Esau and Jacob. Esau and Jacob. Ill feelings developed between the two brothers when they grew into manhood. Esau disliked the fact that Jacob was favored by his father and by Allah with prophethood. This ill feeling became so serious that Esau threatened to kill his brother. Fearing for his life, Jacob fled the country. Isaac's sons. From the people of the book said that when Isaac was 40 years old, he married Rebekah, Bethuel, during his father's life. They said she was sterile, so Isaac prayed to Allah and then she became pregnant. She gave birth to twin boys. The first one was called Isreal, one the Arabs call Al-Is. He became the father of Rum. The second one was called Jacob, which means Israel, belonging to the people of Israel. The people of the book claimed that when Isaac grew old and his eyesight had weakened, he had a desire for food, so he asked his son Isreal to go hunting and bring him some cooked game. Isreal asked him to bless the food and pray for him. Isreal, a hunter, went out to get his father the meat. Rebekah, overhearing this, ordered her son Jacob to slaughter 2 goats of his best flock and cook them after his father liked and bring it to him before his brother returned. She dressed Jacob in his brother's clothes and put goat skin on his arms and neck, for Esau was hairy, while Jacob was not. When he approached his father with the food, his father asked, "Who are you?" Jacob answered, "I am your son." When his father finished eating, he prayed for his son to be the more blessed brother, and to prevail over them and all people, and for Allah to sustain him and his children. When he left his father, his brother Isreal, who had carried out his father's command, entered. Isaac asked him, "What is this, my son?" He answered, "This is the food you like." Isaac asked him, "Did you bring it an hour ago and ask me to pray for you?" Esau said, "No, I swear I did not. And he knew his brother and preceded him in this matter, and he was sick at heart. Jacob leaves his home from the people of the book. The people of the book said Isreal threatened to kill his brother when their father was dead. They also said that he asked his father to pray for him that Allah make the earth good for his offspring and multiply his sustenance and fruits. When their mother knew that Israel threatened his brother Jacob, she commanded her son Jacob to go to her brother Laban in the land of Haran and abide with him for a time until his brother's anger had abated, and to marry one of the Laban's daughters. She told her husband Isaac to command him with that advice and pray for him. And he did. Jacob promised. Jacob left his family. When night came, he found a place to rest. He took a stone and put it under his head and slept. He dreamed of a ladder from heaven to earth. Angels were ascending and descending, and the Lord addressed him and said to him, I will bless you and your offspring, and make this land for you and for those who come after you. When he awoke, he felt joyful from what he had seen in his dream, and vowed, for Allah's sake, that if he returned to his family safely, he would build here a temple for Allah the Almighty. He also vowed to give 1/10 of his property for the sake of Allah. He poured oil on the stone so as to recognize it, and called the place Aal's house, Bethel, which means house of Allah. It was to be the location of Jerusalem later. Jacob's wives. From the people of the book also said that when Jacob came to his maternal uncle in the land of Haran, his uncle had 2 daughters. The elder one was called Leah, and the younger one was Rahel. The latter was the better lovelier of the 2. His uncle agreed to marry his daughter to him on the condition that Jacob pasture his sheep for 7 years. After a period of time, his uncle prepared a feast and gathered people for the wedding. He married Leah, his elder daughter, to him at night. She was weak-sighted and ugly. When morning came, Jacob discovered she was Leah, and he complained to his uncle, You deceived me. I was engaged to Rachel, and you married me to Leah. His uncle said, It is not our tradition to marry the younger daughter before the elder daughter. Younger daughter before the elder daughter. However, if you love her sister, work another 7 years, and I will marry you to both of them. Jacob worked for 7 years and then married Rachel. It was acceptable in their time, as described in the Torah, for a man to marry 2 sisters. Laban gave a female slave to each daughter. Leah's slave was called Zilpah, and Rachel's slave was called Bilhah. Jacob's children from the people of the book. Almighty Allah compensated Leah's weakness by giving her sons. The first one was named Reuben. After one there was Simon, Shamun, Levi, Lawi, and Judah, Jahud. Rachel felt jealous of Leah's having sons. As she was barren, she gave her slave Bilhah to her husband, and he had relations with her until she became pregnant. She gave birth to a son and named him Naphtali, Leah was vexed that Rachel's slave had gave had give birth to a son, so she in turn gave her slave Zilpah to Jacob. Zilpah gave birth to two sons, Gad and Asher. Then Leah got pregnant and gave birth to her fifth son, Issachar, and later she gave birth to a sixth son, Zebulun. After this, Leah gave birth to a daughter named Dinah. Thus Leah had 7 sons. Thus Leah had 7 sons from Jacob.